I'm Tanya Layne. I grew up in the old Camps Bay before it became all cosmopolitan and glitzy. I grew up with the run of the mountain, with the run of Table Mountain, making huts, and yeah, that was my playground. I studied industrial sociology with a major in student activism. I was on campus in the late 80s, early 90s. And from there I went on to work in the labour movement, and then as an applied social researcher, mainly on labour and gender issues. And then I got tired of doing research. Even in the labour movement I'd been a researcher, and it got to a point, I think it was a point in the country's history where we'd written all the new policies, all the new laws. We knew what we needed to do, and it was about figuring out how to do it. So I started looking around for where was a place where I could bring what I had to offer and do something meaningful. I found my place in the conservation sector with a focus on community conservation. And it was great for me because it kind of brought together my love of nature, which had always been there in the background since I was a kid, with the social science training, my eye for community, for seeing the social landscape. I coordinate the South African National Biodiversity Institute's municipal program. We work with local communities and municipalities to better biodiversity management in order to improve people's lives. And for me, unless we're making those connections in the environmental sector between the quality of people's lives and the quality of the environment, the conservation of biodiversity, unless those connections are tangible to people, we're going to lose the fight to save the environment. We've already lost a lot of our connection to nature, so it means we're less grounded in who we are as part of the natural systems, and we're less likely to do what we need to do to take care of ourselves. My experience of nature, as I said, just having the run of the mountain as a kid, and the space that gave me to be with myself, to be connected with myself, to know who I am. And I'm inspired to share that with everybody. And as I said, also the opportunity to bring a social development perspective to conservation. Both of those things inspired me to join the sector. I've registered for a Master's in Reflective Social Practice, and it's an international Master's, and it involves, there's students from across the South mainly, so Southern Africa, Brazil and New Zealand. There's 6 residentials attached to the Master's program that are compulsory to attend, and I applied for assistance with funding to travel to Brazil and New Zealand for 2 of the residentials. I would love to be heading up a program that gives as many young people as possible access to quality experiences in nature that really help them to connect with who they are and to fulfill their potential as people in our society. And through that to play an active role in caring for their environments. I want to give back to the community by mentoring young professionals, especially those entering the field, especially those from social science backgrounds who may not have necessarily imagined themselves as having a place in the conservation sector.